I'll never forget the day they sold my car, a used Honda Civic I'd bought after 2 years of juggling part-time jobs. I stood on the driveway and watched it disappear down the street, my mother smiling like she'd just saved the world. "Your brother needs this more than you need a car," she said, flipping through the cash. "Michael's MBA is an investment in our future." Michael, the family's golden boy, didn't even look up from his phone. "Thanks, sis. I'll pay you back once I'm a hotshot exec." I was 22, fresh out of college with a computer science degree. My parents didn't come to the graduation. Michael, on the other hand, had just gotten into Wharton, with average grades, but none of that seemed to matter. Business school, in their eyes, was the ultimate ticket. "You can take the bus to your programming job," my father added, already tucking the cash into an envelope labeled Michael's tuition. "It's not like you have anyone to impress." My programming job, like I was fixing laptops at a mall kiosk. I'd just landed a junior dev position at Eclipse Technologies, one of Boston's fastest-growing software startups. Not that they ever asked. "The bus doesn't go near my office," I said. "Then walk," Michael said with a smirk. "Might do you some good, you're always glued to a screen anyway." That night, I sat in my room staring at my near-empty bank account. I'd planned to use the car money for a deposit on an apartment near work. Instead, I was stuck at home, listening to my parents gush while Michael packed for his bright future. Then came a message from Alex Chin, my team lead at Eclipse. "Your patchwork is genius. Coffee tomorrow? I've got a proposition." That coffee changed everything. Alex had seen something in my code. He was leaving Eclipse to build a cybersecurity startup, AI-driven, ground up. He wanted me as his first hire. "There's no salary for now," he admitted, "just equity and a bet on the future." I thought about the driveway, Michael's smirk, my parents' indifference. "I'm in." For 6 months, I worked 2 jobs, days at Eclipse, nights and weekends with Alex in his garage-turned-office. My parents didn't notice. They were too busy video calling Michael, fawning over his every class and networking event. "He's rubbing shoulders with future CEOs," my mother said at dinner. "Meanwhile, you're still playing with computers." She didn't know, playing had landed us our first client, a Fortune 100 bank desperate for our AI security tools. I kept quiet. Alex was right, stay under the radar until we're ready. The first year nearly broke us. We lost the garage, and I crashed on Alex's couch. I coded until my fingers cramped. My parents never asked where I was. They were busy bragging about Michael's McKinsey interview. "Now that's a career," my father said one night. I just nodded, didn't mention that Quantum Shield, our startup, had just closed a $50 million Series A. Alex and I toasted with gas station champagne in a rented office with a view of the Boston skyline. 3 years flew by. Michael finished his MBA. My parents threw him a blowout party, inviting anyone who'd ever heard his name. "He's fielding offers from top firms," my mother beamed, "not like some people wasting time on risky little projects." I arrived late, straight from a board meeting. Quantum Shield now had global clients, offices on 3 continents, and a valuation in the hundreds of millions, but I hadn't shared any of that with my family. "Oh, look who finally showed up," Michael said, holding a glass of Dom. "Still doing that coding thing?" I smiled and thought of the plaque on my corner office. "Alexandra Matthews, Chief Executive Officer." "Yeah," I said, "something like that." He laughed. "Well, not everyone can be successful, but hey, at least you're kind of employed." My phone buzzed. A message from our head of HR. "Final exec candidates list is ready. You won't believe who just applied." I opened the attachment. There it was, Michael Matthews, MBA. Applying for a VP position at Quantum Shield, blissfully unaware that the CEO he needed to impress was his sister. "Actually," I said to him at the party, "I've got an early meeting tomorrow. Big things happening at work." He laughed. "Sure, big things, like a promotion to senior code monkey." I left early, sliding into my Tesla, not that anyone noticed, and drove home to my penthouse overlooking the harbor. Tomorrow was going to be interesting. His interview was scheduled for 9 a.m. sharp. In my home office, I reviewed his application. Mediocre grades from Wharton, no real experience, just internships and a LinkedIn page full of buzzwords, but his confidence, unshakable. "I will revolutionize your company's approach to business." I poured a glass of wine and thought back to the day they sold my Civic, an investment in the family's future. They'd called it Tomorrow, Michael would finally see the future I'd built, without their help, without their money, without an MBA. Quantum Shield's headquarters occupied the top 10 floors of Boston's most prestigious tower. I arrived early, sunrise glinting off the glass skyline as I reviewed his interview schedule. "He's in the lobby," Emma, my assistant, reported, wearing a suit that probably costs more than his first month's salary, assuming we were hiring him. I smiled, picturing his designer wardrobe, courtesy of our parents' endless belief in his potential. "How's he acting?" "Like he owns the place. Told reception to let Mr. Matthews know he arrived early, thought that would make an impression." I glanced at my reflection in the glass, tailored suit, Quantum Shield ID badge clipped just right, the calm composure of someone who built a billion-dollar company from the ground up. "Send him to conference room A," I said, "and give me his preliminary interview notes." Emma handed me the tablet. "It's illuminating," she said. "He talked over the HR director, interrupted our VPs to explain cybersecurity to them, and told a board member our business model was outdated." I scrolled through the notes. Classic Michael. "He still hasn't connected the dots," Emma added, refers to Matthews as he in all his interview follow-ups. Even better. I gathered my notes and walked to conference room A, every step echoing the memory of him smirking as they sold my car. He stood when I walked in. That polished MBA smile faltered fast as recognition hit. "Alex. That's Miss Matthews," I said, taking my seat at the head of the table. "Or CEO Matthews, if you're feeling formal." He blinked, color draining from his face. This is your company?" "Quantum Shield." I nodded. "The coding thing you used to mock. I built it." I gestured to the skyline behind me. "Surprised you didn't know. We're kind of a big deal in the industry you claim to know so well." "But, you're just a programmer." I raised an eyebrow. "A programmer who turned a garage startup into a billion-dollar security firm, while you were, what, learning PowerPoint?" I opened his resume. "Let's talk about your application." His bravado shrank with every line I read. Each internship, every fluff-filled leadership opportunity looked paper-thin under real scrutiny. "Your grades were unimpressive," I said, "but I'm sure that car money helped cover tuition." He flinched. "Alex, about the car. It's Miss Matthews, and I'm not here for apologies. I'm here to understand why you think you're qualified to be a VP at my company." I have an MBA from Wharton." "Yes," I said, "you mentioned that 6 times in your cover letter. What else?" Silence. No notable achievements. No vision. Just parental funding, empty ambition, and a name he assumed would open doors. But this door, he'd already walked through it. And it was closing. I closed his file and looked up. "Tell me, Michael, how's that MBA working out for you?" He adjusted his expensive tie, posture stiffening. "Come on, we're family, that has to count for something." I let out a short laugh. "Was I family when you stood by while they sold my car, when you called my work a hobby, when you and our parents treated me like a backup plan you never needed?" "That was years ago," he said quickly. "People change." "They do." I pressed the intercom. "Emma, please escort Mr. Matthews out, and update his application status to rejected, not qualified." Michael shot to his feet, panic seeping into his carefully controlled expression. "Wait, Mom and Dad will be devastated. They've told everyone I was interviewing here." I thought of the endless parties for his every accomplishment. The photo walls, the speeches, the silence surrounding anything I did. "They'll survive," I said, standing, "but you might want to give them a heads up about who's actually running the company." Security stepped in. Michael looked at me like he was seeing me, really seeing me, for the first time. "You're doing this to get back at me." I shook my head. "No, I'm doing this because you're not qualified, and because having an MBA doesn't make you entitled to success." I turned back to my screen, dismissing him with the same indifference he once gave me. "Oh, and the bus stops 2 blocks east. Consider the walk exercise." After he was gone, Emma returned with the next meeting brief. "Your mother's called 6 times already." "Send an email," I said, not looking up. "Use official letterhead. Dear Mr. and Mrs. Matthews, thank you for your son's interest in Quantum Shield. Unfortunately." "Should I add that the CEO sends her personal regrets?" Emma smirked. I smiled back. "No, add this instead. The position has been filled by someone with actual experience, someone who didn't need their sister's car sold to fund their future. That night, on my drive home, my phone lit up with messages. Mom, why didn't you tell us? We would have supported you. Dad, family should help each other succeed. Michael, you've ruined everything. I pulled into the private garage beneath my building, far from the driveway they'd emptied years ago, and typed a reply. No, Michael, I didn't ruin anything. I built everything. Without your MBA, without their support, without the car. The next morning, Quantum Shield announced a major acquisition, a flailing consulting firm that specialized in MBA job placements. My first executive order? A new hiring policy, practical experience over pedigree. A few weeks later, another application crossed my desk. Michael Matthews, applying for an entry-level operations role. I told Emma to send our standard rejection letter. At the bottom, I added a note by hand. You might consider learning to code. I hear it's more useful than PowerPoint. Sometimes, success isn't about proving anyone wrong. It's about building something so real, so undeniable, that their doubts no longer matter. And sometimes, just sometimes, success looks like watching your MBA-wielding brother realize the empire you built with just computers is the one place his degree can't buy him into. A month later, word got around that Michael had finally landed a job at a fledgling tech startup. Learning to code. I sent him a bus pass as a gift. After all, family should help family succeed. The space where my car once sat has long been filled, not by vehicles, but by something far more valuable. The quiet, unshakable knowledge that belief in yourself is worth more than any degree. And maybe, just maybe, that a girl once underestimated can become the kind of woman no one sees coming.